me read few news. Fear of ground OPS looms as war enters second month. A top Iranian official warned the US agent against a ground invasion, saying American troops would be set on fire as regional diplomats gathered in Pakistan on Sunday in a push to broker an end to the month long war. Iran's parliament speaker Mohammad Baghir Khalibaf accused the US of plotting a ground attack despite publicly pushing for a negotiated deal. After a US warship with around 3,500 military personnel arrived in West Asia, the enemy publicly sends messages of negotiation and dialogue while secretly planning a ground attack. Ghalibaf said in a statement carried by the official IRNA news agency. Our men are waiting for the arrival of the American soldiers on the ground to set them on fire and punish their regional allies once and for all, he added. The Washington Post reported the Pentagon was preparing plans for weeks of ground operations, potentially including raids on sites near the Strait of Hormuz, through US President Donald Trump has yet to approve any deployment. Trump has repeatedly spoken of diplomatic contacts with Iran, although these claims have been denied by Tehran. The war has escalated into a regional conflagration as Iran has retaliated with attacks on Gulf Arab states, affecting shipping and threatening world economy. Houthis launched second attack. Yemen's Houthis carried out a second attack on Israel in less than 24 hours using missiles and drones and vowed to continue military operations in the coming days, the Iran-backed group's military spokesperson Yahya Sari said. Hormuz in focus during Pak talks. Pakistan hosted talks with Turkey, Egypt and Saudi Arabia on Sunday as part of its efforts to broker an end to the Iran war, with initial discussions focused on proposals to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The countries meeting in Pakistan have floated proposals to Washington tied to reopening of strait. The proposals included Suez Canal style-free structures, Reuters reported citing sources. Turkey, Egypt and Saudi could form a consortium to manage oil flows through the waterway. 4 children drowned in Yadgir farm found. 4 children drowned after entering a farm pond to swim in this district on Sunday, the police said. The incident occurred in Naganuru village in Surpura Taluk under the jurisdiction of the Kembavi police station. The deceased were identified as Kirana 6 years, Basamma 11 years, Sharat 6 years and Hanumi 7 years, police said. According to the police, the children had gone to the pond as it was a school holiday. Very much tragic. Rahul to call CM DKS to Delhi in May. The Congress leadership plans to settle the festering power tussle in Karnataka by inviting Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and his Deputy DK Shivakumar to Delhi for discussions with Rahul Gandhi sometime in the middle of May. Sources told DH that leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, recently discussed the matter with Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge and other leaders, and it was decided that the CM and Deputy CM would be called to Delhi after the 5 state elections. Leaders involved in discussions have sought to impress upon the Congress High Command to resolve the issue without further delay. Though Rahul had initially planned to call both leaders to Delhi in early March, the meeting was postponed as the Congress leadership got busy with electioneering, and the budget session of parliament. Among the senior leaders, Karnataka warhorse Kharge seems to be of the view that confusion on leadership change needs to end soon to give more clarity to state leaders and party workers who would now be gearing up for the next assembly polls. The party wants to end the confusion before the local body polls, sources said. The party high command has two broad options. If the party asks Siddaramaiah to step down, more of his loyalists will be inducted into the cabinet and he will be rewarded with a senior position in the party. If the party allows Siddaramaiah to continue, then Shivkumar's followers will get preference in the reshuffle. To placate Shivkumar, the party may assure him that he would be made CM if the Congress comes to power in the 2028 assembly polls, a top party leader also told to DH. If Siddaramaiah is removed, his successor, whether it is DK Shivkumar or someone else, will be decided by Rahul Gandhi, sources added. Siddaramaiah has already told the party top brass that in the event of his removal, he would prefer to back Dalit leader and Home Minister G. Parameshwara as the next Chief Minister. Lok Sabha to discuss end of Naxalism ahead of March 31 deadline. With the government's deadline for eliminating Naxalism ending March 31, the Lok Sabha will discuss efforts to free the country from left-wing extremism on Monday. The government has listed the discussion under Rule 193 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in the Lok Sabha, where there is no need for a formal motion or voting. The notice for the discussion was given by TDP MP Baireddy Shabari and Shiv Sena Shrikant Shinde and will initiate debate in which Home Minister Amit Shah is expected to provide an overview of the efforts to eliminate Naxalism. Last month, the MHA had said that the number of Naxal affected districts in the country has come down to 7, with 3 of them, Bijapur, Narayanpur and Sukma in Chhattisgarh, remaining in the most affected category. The MHA also said that 7,409 Naxals were arrested between 2019 and January 15, 2026. Another 5,880 Naxals surrendered during the period. Almost the entire CPI Maoist leadership has been killed or has surrendered in the past couple of years, it added. Between 2004 and March 26 this year, 16,496 Naxals have surrendered, with a maximum of 2,337 laying down arms last year. The Union government is preparing an operations and development blueprint, which includes an announcement for the withdrawal of approximately 5 central armed police forces, battalions and from Naxal infested areas, regions, and the launch of multiple welfare schemes. PNG users cooking on LPG stoves paying for 25% of gas they never used. Piped natural gas consumers who retrofitted their old LPG stoves are losing around 25% of the fuel charged on their bills simply because their old stove is not equipped for the combustion of new gas. On March 24, the Union Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas notified a new rule stating that households not opting for PNG despite availability will not get LPG after 3 months. The rule comes in the wake of a shortage of LPG, 60% of which is imported compared to 50% import of PNG amid the ongoing West Asia war. Many consumers switching over to PNG are unwittingly losing around 25% of the gas due to retrofitting of their old LPG stoves by modifying the nozzle and burner. However, these stoves, which are designed for the denser LPG that flows at a higher pressure, cannot efficiently burn PNG. The piped gas requires a different burner due to its low pressure flow. Anjan Ray, a former director of CSIR, Indian Institute of Petroleum, noted that in view of the wastage of gas established by a study conducted by the institute, the Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board has made mandatory for the piped gas suppliers to install PNG stoves. The companies are not interested as they can sell 25% more gas by allowing retrofitting. Consumers continue to pay 25% more for the gas they never used, he noted. Food and Civil Supplies Minister K.H. Muniappa said on Sunday that the union government had increased the supply of commercial cylinders to Karnataka by 68%. Addressing a press conference, the minister noted that 4,200 cylinders should be provided every day on first priority to educational institutions, hospitals, hostels, and so on, followed by 1,200 cylinders to government departments, PSUs, airports, railway and bus stations, and so on. As many as 17,500 cylinders will be given on third priority to hotels, dabas, restaurants, industries, and so on. While agriculture and related fields, fisheries, sericulture, and so on will be provided 6,000 cylinders. As many as 563 cylinders will be provided on the priority basis. Overall, 29,463 cylinders are expected to be provided each day. Since the union government has provided more cylinders, there are expectations that the LPG supply situation in the state may substantially improve in the coming days. There have been complaints that some private gas distributors are selling LPG cylinders at rates higher than those notified by the government. A stern notification has been issued to all distributors to strictly distribute cylinders at the rates fixed by the government, Muniappa said. He noted that strict action as per the law would be initiated against those selling cylinders for greater cost for domestic use, commercial use, and auto LPG. District level overseeing committees headed by DCs have been formed and supervision is being conducted on the provision and distribution of LPG, rate fixation, misuse, and so on. Raids and checks have been taken to prevent black marketing. The food minister also clarified that there was no shortage of auto LPG. There are 72 auto LPG dispensing stations in the state. Of these, 31 are there in the Bangalore itself. In all the stations in Karnataka, especially those in Bengaluru, LPG is available through public sector oil marketing companies such as IOCL, BPCL, HPCL, the minister said. These organizations are selling auto LPG at a cost of rupees 77.74, he added.
How are you, Paul?
Third language called marks a priority shift. It is about SSLC language matter. The Karnataka government's decision to alter the assessment pattern for the third language in the SSLC examinations has drawn mixed reactions and invited sharp criticism alongside support. Announced by School Education Minister Madhu Bangarappa, The reform replaces marks with a grading system for the third language, removes it from the aggregate score, and eliminates the pass fail requirement. Hello, okay? Hello, Gale. Hello, Ga. While appearing for the examination remains mandatory, a student's overall result will no longer hinge on performance in this subject. According to the government, the new policy addresses a serious concern. The 2024-25 examination saw over 1.4 lakh students fail in Hindi, which is taught in nearly 96% of state syllabus schools. The move aims to mitigate the risk of students losing an academic year due to a single non-core subject. This is expected to reduce anxiety and enable greater focus on core disciplines such as mathematics and science, which are more consequential for higher education. However, critics question the timing. Introducing such a significant change on the eve of the examination betrays students who have spent the year preparing for the paper. Policy shifts of this magnitude are best introduced at the start of an academic year. There are also apprehensions about a possible dilution of academic rigor. If a subject no longer contributes to the final score, it risks being treated as incidental by both students and institutions. They see this not as a genuine educational reform but as a knee-jerk reaction taken under pressure from Kannada activists, a convenient political exit. Supporters, on the other hand, counter that Hindi proficiency is not essential for employment outcomes and that classroom time may be better utilized in building practical life skills. They situate this reform in a broader historical context. Resistance to Hindi imposition has deep roots in the state. From early protest in the 1930s to the 1963 town hall resolution in Bengaluru advocating a two-language formula. The student unrest of the late 1960s underscored the depth of this sentiment. Proponents further argue that the three-language formula has been unevenly implemented. While students in the south have had to contend with the Hindi, many northern states meet the requirement through a Sanskrit loophole, with limited engagement with the other Indian languages. While the state defends this as a balance between student welfare and socio-political realities, it follows a pattern of lowering benchmarks previously seen in the reduction of pass percentages to artificially improve SSLC results. Such systemic shifts require careful deliberation so that in the process of reducing the burden on students, the value of certificate itself is not inadvertently diminished. Let me read a article, Timeless Jainism in a Changing World. About 2600 years ago, Mahavira, the 24th Tirthankar, preached a timeless message rooted in truth, non-violence, non-greed, non-attachment, and chastity. His teachings emerged during an era marked by turbulence and conflict. Across civilizations, wars were fought fiercely between the Greeks and the Persians, modern Iranians, and in regions spanning Italy, China, the Middle East, and India. The violence brought immense suffering to societies. Over the centuries, the nature of warfare has evolved dramatically. Physical combat gave way to artillery, which was later replaced by fighter planes, and today conflicts are increasingly driven by unmanned drones and advanced technologies. While the weapons of war have transformed, human nature has remained strikingly constant. Societies continue to bear the consequences of misinformation spread by leaders, violent confrontations driven by power struggles, and an ever growing greed for wealth and attachment to land and material possessions. The values emphasized by Tirthankara Mahavira, honesty, kindness, simplicity, detachment, and self restraint, have endured as guiding principles for peace and harmony. He talked about these ideals not as abstract philosophies but practical ways for everyday living, communicated in Prakrit, the language of the common people. These teachings remind us of true progress that lies not merely in artificial intelligence and economic progress but in moral and spiritual growth. Beyond his teachings, Mahavira inspired devotees to live these values daily. The difference between monks and others lies not in principles but in the depth of practice. Their fasting is more rigorous, reflecting restraint that builds awareness and compassion for others. Groups of young men and women embrace fasting with joy and devotion, seeking self realization within the bounds of many roles as family members, breadwinners, community participants, and citizens of India. No matter how small the desire for self realization, Jainism recognizes the importance of starting with simple steps and following up with steady efforts toward becoming a better human being. Over time, these small steps can lead one closer to the ideal state that the faith upholds, the state achieved by very few like the Tirthankaras and the very state which is depicted in the state statue of Gommateshwara. Even today, many, young and old, embrace ascetic paths and with quiet conviction. Their serenity and inner strength set powerful example, showing that simplicity and self-restraint can coexist with purpose and fulfillment. In an age of excess, they remind us of enduring values and inspire hope for a peaceful and harmonious world. With this, I am going to finish reading this newspaper for today. Let me come again tomorrow with another newspaper. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.